Herzlich willkommen zum nächsten Teil der Inner Game Reihe, 52 Wochen, 52 Stories. Heute eine sehr, sehr besondere Folge, weil die nicht in Deutsch stattfinden wird, sondern in Englisch. Und es ist auch diesmal nicht so, dass ich jemanden interviewe, sondern dass ich auf meinem Account interviewt werde von einem jungen Fußballer aus Amerika. Ich war ja letztens mit MZTA, mit der Agentur unterwegs. Wir haben eine Fußballreise für ein amerikanisches Team organisiert und da waren Fußballer Alter von 14 und 15 und ich habe mich mit einem auch sehr, sehr gut verstanden, der eine Seite hat, NokkenSportsNews. Und mit ihm, ja, er hat mich gefragt, ob ich ein Interview mit ihm machen könnte. Und dann habe ich gesagt, hey, lass uns das doch auch auf unserem oder auf meinem Account machen. Deshalb ja, werde ich jetzt auch ins Englische switchen. Für die leider nur Deutsch verstehen, ist das Interview jetzt nicht gedacht, aber ja, wird jetzt in Englisch stattfinden und ich werde interviewt, nur als kleiner Teaser. Gucken, ob das funktioniert. Alright.
There we go.
Good to see you, man.
Yeah, good to see you as well. How are you doing?
Really good. How are you?
I'm doing great as well. Glad we could schedule this and get it up and going.
Yeah, I'm excited too. It's the first time. I just told my audience that it's going to be like a surprise series this time in English, and you interviewing me. We haven't done that before. Did you get back to the States all right?
Yeah, it was worked out in the long run. We went through France and then came back here, but it was just a great experience and get to meet so many good people like you. So it was a great experience.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, and I had a lot of fun too, like doing all the tours and going to the stadium, to the Allianz Arena and everything. I had a really good time, and it's crazy. It was only a week, but you build relationships in those weeks. Like that's what's so exciting to get to talk to you again. And even though you're basically on a different continent, like the connection is there. So really glad that we're doing this call today.
So am I. You want to just get started here?
Yeah. Let's just keep going. Yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah. Here, I'll start off and then we can go through. So how did you start your high performance player academy?
Okay, so this whole the whole story behind the academy or what I'm doing today is like really long. Like I could start like when I was playing in the youth academy team, and I was a player who thought about myself a lot and about other people, and sometimes I say I was my worst opponent or my biggest opponent when I was playing back then. And I read a lot of books. Like when I was young, I started reading a lot of books. Like I was looking for answers. Like I wanted to improve. I wanted to get better. I wanted to deal with what was going on in my mind. Like because that's where I saw a lot of potential for me, because I was a player who sometimes didn't win his inner game. That's what I call it now, like the inner game that goes on in everybody's head. So that's when I started to learn more about like the mental side of the game. And when I went to the United States, like this whole journey, like in the States, was way bigger already. Like mental strength, mental training is bigger in the States than it is in Germany. So I decided to basically make that to my mission, to bring mental training and personal development to young players, to players who want to improve, who want to train mentally. And when I was playing back then, like there was nothing going on in this area. And I think still today, it's not as popular to work on like the mental side of the game than you work on your athletics and nutrition and technique and everything. So that's what I had in mind when I started the academy. I was like, there's so much potential when you train like the best muscle, your brain, and I didn't have that. So that's why I founded the academy, to give players like a platform where they can train the mental side of the game.
I call it Netflix for football players, because they can come in and watch on demand like certain calls about confidence, about motivation, about dealing with difficult times, dealing with pressure, dealing with mistakes, and there's so much stuff going on. But I founded it because I have had in mind to help young players, especially younger players who were in the same position that I was.
Yeah, I think it's awesome because, you can have the skills, everything you need to play soccer, but when it comes down to when you have to use your brain and in like intense PK moments or something like that, you're going to need it. And yeah, I just think.
Yeah. It's so interesting that you say that, because I think a lot of people would agree that my like mindset and what's going on in our heads is really important, especially like in high pressure situations, like you were just talking about a PK, for example, or like when you playing for the relegation, for example, or you're playing in the championship and it's like win or you go, you are out. So when there's high pressure, I think that's when it's even more important to work on the mental side of the game.
Yeah. Our second question, we ask this every time when we have athletes on and stuff like that. But we want to get your take on it. How does being an athlete make you a better person?
Great question. Really good question, because I think how I think about it in soccer is not just about, or football is not just about football. I think in football you learn life skills. Like when you're growing up being a player, you learn so much about life. You learn to work in a group, for example, like being part of a team, dealing with sometimes maybe difficult characters, with a lot of players in the team. So I learned a lot about like relationships, leadership, communication, just by being in a team. So I think that has made me a better person. The second thing I would say is that, I mean, soccer or football, I would say football can be tough too. There are difficult times, times where you're not playing, times when you are injured, times when it's just not going well. Maybe your team is not performing, maybe you are not performing. So I think what I learned for my life is like dealing with difficult times, because in life we always have, or like we also have difficult times, times where we might want to give up, but then having to deal with that in soccer or in football as well just helps us in life in general. So I think like dealing with rejection and everything, and dealing with criticism, with people not supporting you. I mean, I could probably go on and on, because football is such a great school for life. And that's why I think everybody should play a sport. Like, doesn't really matter if football, but in general, sports. I think every sportsman learns a lot about like life in general. Especially like one last point maybe is the discipline that you need to go up or like to improve in your sport as well. You need to be really disciplined, focused, and consistent, and not just being like a player who works on himself once in a while. But consistently is working on himself, and I think that has helped me in life in general, for my relationships, for my business that I'm building right now, for just in general. Like I think it's a great environment to grow.
Yeah. What was your initial thought when you first got to NC State?
My initial thought, I think I was really nervous, and I wouldn't say anxious, but there was a lot of uncertainty. I mean, I left my family, I left my girlfriend at the time, I left home, I left everything that was familiar to me, and I basically took a plane to the other side of the world, basically to another continent, and I was I was nervous or excited. I was excited too. Like I was looking forward to it. So my first thought was, yeah, it's like a jump out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
But I was excited to take on the challenge, I think. Yeah, I was excited. I was sad on the one hand to leave a lot of what I love too, but on the other hand, I saw like the opportunity studying in a different country, playing against players from other parts of the world, getting to know people from all over the world. I think at this time I focused on all the benefits, the good stuff that was happening in the States, even though it wasn't an easy time all the time. So sometimes there were challenges, but I think I focused on learning and growing. So that's why, yeah, NC State was like the best decision I've ever made.
Yeah, and I was looking through, and it looks like you scored some game winners and a lot of goals when you were there, and All-American. Can you kind of explain like how your career was there?
Yeah, it was really interesting when I flew to the States. I usually say before I left and once I got there, I wasn't a different player. I wasn't a different human. Like I didn't learn anything just by going over. I was the same person, but I had a mindset shift. So in TuS Koblenz, where I played before in the Regionalliga in Germany, I was a player who put a lot of pressure on himself. I was really hard on myself, like always thinking, okay, there has to be on the next level. There has to be, I don't know, like I wasn't really confident in my ability to really proceed. I was always like struggling with myself a lot. And then I went to the States, and my mindset shifted. Like I went over and I was like, okay, nobody knows me. Like a blank sheet. Nobody knows me. I'm just going over to the States. I'm coming from Germany, so my background in soccer is really good. So I saw myself as a better player just by going over. I said, okay, I kind of put the dream of becoming a professional player to the backside, and I was just focusing on the process. And this shift, like it was just a mindset shift. I had a different perspective on everything. Like my mindset shifted, and I shifted as a player as well. And that's why I learned that mental training, or like the mental side of the game, is everything. Because I just played soccer. Like I just played, like I had fun. I was playing like I played before when I was younger. I didn't think about anything. I was confident. I was courageous on the field. I wanted to have the balls. I took responsibilities. I just played, and I was confident in playing. And I think not putting so much pressure on me and just enjoying the game more, enjoying the process more, has helped me a lot. And that's my main message, by the way, when I'm talking to athletes right now. Like, don't forget why you have started, and enjoy the process. That's what I'm always saying, because I learned I experienced the difference when you're just focusing on your goals and I have to play in a higher division, or I have to be better. I'm not good enough. I need to make my next step. Always putting pressure on myself. That was my version one when I was playing in Germany, and then I was my version 2, like just enjoying the game. And I played better. I wasn't injured as much, which is interesting, because I think a lot of injuries are connected also with your mindset too. So that's why I had a really successful college career.
Yeah, and I think you can take a lot of benefits from playing in different countries, because, like, for example, when we went down to Germany, like, the passion was there, and it wasn't just the NFL and NHL like over here, and everyone loves soccer. But back in the U.S., you can kind of tell the how it's growing, and it's starting to get back up to where all the big European leagues are.
Yeah, I agree. I think I was playing there from 2015 to 2018, and I experienced that football was growing in the States. Like more people were watching it on TV. It was just like getting more and more popular. But now, 4 years later, like I think the MLS and everything in the States has taken another level too. And when more players from like international teams going over to the States, improving the MLS. And I think the new model in the colleges, the 21st century model, will help as well. I think it's interesting because here in Germany, football and basketball are becoming more and more popular,
Yeah.
and in the States, football is becoming more and more popular. So yeah, it's going to be a great time, especially with the World Championship being in the States. I think 2026.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, yeah. So it's going to be a great time.
Yeah. Two more left. How did you stay motivated throughout your recovery from your injury?
Yeah, I don't even know how you would call the injury in English. It's probably like this syndesmotic tendon or something like that. So yeah, I was injured, I think 6 months ago, like when the injury happened. And then I had to get surgery. And I think from the first moment on, I told myself like, hey, my rehab starts right now. That's what I told myself. Like first day, my rehab starts right now, and I can't change my injury right now. Like I think it's so important to accept what you can't change, what you can't control, and work on the things that you can control. So that's what I was doing. I was accepting my injury. I accepted my surgery. I accepted that I will be out for a couple of months. I accepted that I had to work hard to come back to my level. I accepted that I wasn't able to change the injury again. So that's what helped me to put all my energy on getting back. And I think so many times, and I did that too, like we're losing so much energy focusing on stuff we can't control. And I think what helped me staying more motivated or just getting back stronger than I was before was just like putting my energy where it needed to be, like doing my rehab, working on my mindset, nutrition. I think nutrition is a big thing. And just improving step by step, day by day. I wasn't even aware of when I will be back, but I just did my best to train and to work out and put in sweat, blood, and tears in the gym and everything to come back. And with that as well, I think what helped me staying motivated was the same thing that I was talking about earlier. Like I just enjoyed it. It sounds weird, but I enjoyed working or coming back from my injury. Might sound weird, but it's just like a game for me. Like, okay, that's a challenge. Okay, the challenge will definitely make me stronger when I accept it and work on it. And that's what I did. And I played my third game today. First time from beginning, which felt nice. I could have scored a couple goals, but today was a game maybe you know those games where you could play a couple hours and you wouldn't score a goal. Like I was so unfortunate. I played well, but I was just unlucky in front of the goal. But I scored one last game, which felt really nice after like 6 months of not being able to play. Felt good.
Was it a banger?
It was okay. I was inside the box. Had like a crossover and put it in the left side of the net, so it was okay.
Yeah, but back to the injury stuff, like you just gotta set goals, you know, like with my broken leg, or like my goal was to be back for Germany, and obviously I didn't know what to expect, so I just went out there and played my best. But
yeah, I was I think that was probably my best moment for me during the whole trip when you got subbed on and scored, because I saw your parents really like being so happy for you. Everybody was happy for you. I was really happy for you because, yeah, it's really great to work your ass back to get back after such an injury, like a broken leg is, yeah, and it's great to see that the work you put in paid off, and when you scored, I saw the team and everybody was really happy for you, and you kind of felt that when the game was over. So it was probably one of my best moments in during our trip, which was really happy for you.
Yeah, and especially to be in Europe, I mean, couldn't be any better. So
yeah, and especially going forward, I think it's going to be really important that you remember those feelings. Always going back to the moment that you scored and how it felt like, and how it was for you to get back on, because that's what helps you like being even more optimistic that everything will work out and you will be just fine.
Yeah. Last one. What do you suggest to young players who want to make the college level in soccer or above?
I'm going to tell a story about that because I remember in my last year at NC State, in my senior year, we got a new coach. So a new coach came in, which was kind of an exciting time because like nobody knew, okay, what to expect, and his position in the nobody knew his position in the team, and was a lot of change going on in the whole program. So we were in our first team meeting with the new coach, in one of the first, I think it was the first, and he asked the question, hey, who wants to become pro? And everybody raised, everybody. Me, one guy who was there just to study, who was like a really smart kid who just came there to study, and he made the cut on the team and played there, but he wasn't really an ambitious soccer player. But I was at the time, like you said, like leading goal scorer. I had all those awards, like the All-American, All-ACC freshman team and whatever. So I was basically the captain of the team, and I didn't raise my hand to say, hey, I want to become pro, because my goal wasn't to become pro. But I saw those other players all raising their hands. Okay, I want to become professional. But on the same hand, I saw some of them, not all of them. Some of them really worked hard and didn't just say something, also did work on themselves. But I saw a lot of players saying, I want to become pro, but they didn't eat right. They didn't come earlier to practice. They didn't work on their mindset. They were complaining a lot, and they were not doing the things that help them to become pro, So my advice to all players who want to be on a college team or even higher, who really want to become pro, I would say, don't just talk about it. Walk it like you talk it. I think that's the biggest advice, because it's hard. Like, not a lot of players eventually will make it, so it's going to be really important to put in the work and put in the energy and work on themselves, because there are a lot of, I usually say, like a puzzle. It's like a puzzle to become a professional or like a good player. There's so many parts of it, and there's so much to do and to learn and to grow. So that would be my first thing, like walk the talk. Don't just say you have high goals. Work for your goals. That's what is my first thing. And the second thing is, I had to end with that, it's about enjoying the process. Because I think, it's about big goals and working for them and trying to achieve more. But in the end, it's about enjoying the process, the journey to your goals. Because I was working with a professional athlete, like in a mental coaching, and he was telling me about his goal to become professional, and he said, and then he was playing professional in the first Bundesliga, and then he said, okay, what's next? So he kind of he reached his goal of becoming a professional, but then he was like, okay, and what's next? Like he thought he arrives when he's professional, you know?
Yeah.
Like that. Like when you reach your goal, it's great to reach a goal. Don't get me wrong, but it's just not only about the goal. It's also about the journey. It's about the person you are becoming while you're chasing the goal. You know?
Yeah.
And that would be my second advice. Like, just enjoy it, because it goes by quickly. Like a college career goes by quickly. That's what everybody says. I mean, in every commencement speech, like they would probably say, okay, don't take it for granted. And you hear that all the time, I know. But it is like enjoying every day where you can improve, get a little better. I think that's probably the biggest advice that I could give to any person who's trying to achieve something.
Yeah. So I wanna thank you for answering my questions. I appreciate it. It's been great.
Yeah, you're welcome, and I'm really excited that we got to do that, and I'm so excited to see your journey as well, because it's exciting. I mean, and it's really cool that you're doing like the NokkenSportsNews, like the page and everything, and always learning, and you're a really humble guy. I learned that, or I saw that was my first impression. You probably someone who can be even more confident about himself, like I could have been when I was younger, but keep growing. I think that's all we can do. And I was telling you earlier when we were talking on the phone, I have those 5 sentences that I'm ending every Inner Game series with, and we can do them. Like I can just tell them to you, and you can just finish those sentences. It's gonna be interesting as well. Okay, just gonna get started. Football is
life.
Ooh, yes. My best experience in football was
going to Germany and Austria.
I knew that you're going to say that. I'm a fan or a supporter of
Manchester United, but I had to wear the Bayern Munich jersey for you.
All right. Mental strength means to me.
It means like one of the most important things to me, because you can't really do well in a game without keeping your head in it. So.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, perfect. And last one, football will develop in the next 5 to 10 years.
Yes, I think give it like 5 years, because everyone's starting to watching the MLS, like you said, and all these international players will help out. So I think Europeans will have to watch out for the MLS. Maybe add them in the Champions League.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. That's kind of an interesting thought, like having a championship, not just like a European Champions League, but like a worldwide Champions League.
Yeah.
Yeah, there might be when you guys improving.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right. Thank you so much. And really appreciate you interviewing me. And hope you're going to stay in touch for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And yeah, I'm going to just switch back into German for those of you who were still listening. Okay. We're going to talk soon. Okay, Isaiah?
Sounds good.
Thank you so much.
Ja, no problem.
Okay. So, jetzt wieder auf Deutsch. Ich hoffe, ihr konntet einiges mitnehmen. Auf jeden Fall super spannend, weil er wirklich jemand ist, der immer weiter will, immer weiter lernen will, war auch jemand, den ich sehr ins Herz geschlossen habe während der Fußballreise. Und bin gespannt, was aus ihm noch wird. Und euch wünsche ich natürlich noch einen schönen Abend und bis bald. Alright. See you.
See you.